brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Mornings at the Cabin, indeed. Wheeler, Lecter, AJ with you on your Wednesday morning. It's Trivia Day. That's right. If you don't go down to Elks Trivia, what the hell are you doing with your life? It's really fun. We love a good pub stumpers game. AJ, you never come.
I did. I came once. I had a team.
Oh, you did?
Actually, I went a couple times.
Was it what were they called?
I can't even remember. This was a couple years ago now.
Oh.
But it was, I found it.
You couldn't just make something up for the sake of this break?
No.
Okay.
I'm horrible.
No. No. I have to tell the truth. And the truth is, I'm costing us money. No. That was yesterday.
I'm always costing us money with the honesty.
That's right. Me too. So you went, had a team. It didn't go well?
No, I found it just so difficult. If I got one or two answers in a night, I was happy.
So this pub stumpers, even K-Mac complains about it. The questions are from like 2008.
Yeah.
So he'll ask a question and he'll sometimes be like, I don't know. And he'll look it up on the internet to make sure it's still right. Because in 2008, the answer may have been right, but now it may not be. Right?
Makes sense.
So it's the pub stumpers at the Elks is kind of like Trivial Pursuit Genus 1 for baby boomers. It's like, this is everything I know about life. And I actually...
Up to 2008.
Yeah, exactly. I actually started almost memorizing Genus 1 of Trivial Pursuit because my parents played it so much. That game came out in 1982. So I know a lot of pop culture stuff from the 70s.
Explains a lot.
That's right. Explains a lot. I was born in 81. That came out in 82, and I know a lot of it. And you know what? Again, Pub Stumpers and Trivial Pursuit, a lot of it comes from The Simpsons. Just saying. We got some Feist to start off the morning. Lecter's even going to talk probably at some point.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
If you were lucky enough to, be out at the airport and see the sexy new Airbus, I don't have an ending to that. It looks great, but an Airbus was in town recently to test. It may still be in town. I don't know. Do you know?
I have no idea.
Great. Thank you, AJ.
So honest.
Always there for the information.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it looks like a great little plane, and it's up here for, ice testing or deep freeze testing or whatever, right? So basically what they got to do is subject it to the coldest temperatures.
Right.
Which right now we are some of the worst temperatures or coldest temperatures in the world.
Good timing.
Mm-hmm. It's been in operation since like 2016, but I guess they're just undergoing further testing now.
Yeah.
Just preparing for the inevitable ice age that's coming. So.
You know what's amazing is I noticed the other day, the YK Center, the now, I didn't realize before, but it was already infamous, the sign that showed the cold weather.
Yeah.
And tourists like to take pictures under it when it's like minus 35, minus 36.
Yep.
And we were talking a few weeks ago about how it was reading the wrong temperature. And Ollie got in touch with the guy who actually programs that thing and changes the messages. And he gave him just the best interview ever, saying it's just I don't know what to do with this thing. It's just the darndest thing. And he made it his life's mission to fix that thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he has.
I don't think he has.
But it still is saying minus 40.
Oh, yeah. It's going to say minus 40 all year, I think. I think it'll be plus 30 during Folk in the Rocks, and it'll be like minus 40.
That's how you get an indication of just how cold it is. When that thing says it's ridiculously cold.
Yeah.
And it's probably still being generous.
I mean, it would be awesome to kind of replace it with something that works, obviously, but replace it with a sign that says, "What are you looking at? You know it's cold.
It's cold. Get inside."
God's sake.
Jeez.
Good Lord.
Just upload it with that little program. You get that weather program that tells you all the ridiculous things.
Oh, I love that one. And I love that you can turn
Go inside. It's crazy cold.
Turn it on with swears.
Oh, I just remembered his other pet peeve that there was no Santa Claus icon that you could put as an animation on it.
Oh, on the screen. Yeah.
It's a moot point now, but 11 months from now.
It's a moot point when talking about a plane.
It's cold.
So
I don't have much more to say about
that's
planes,
fair enough.
I guess.
we talked with Mikey McBride about it because obviously Buffalo was helping them out because they know the cold and how to operate aircraft in the cold better than anybody.
They do.
Yes, they do.
And so Mikey was saying that they basically got when night hits, the sun goes down, which is noon. You got to turn everything off, no heat, no power whatsoever. Leave it overnight, and just to see how everything kind of responds. So you got to freeze the plane for 12 hours, no human interaction. So if you wanted to go up and just touch
solitary,
ruins the test.
Wow,
just touch the tire. It's it's too warm, and then they got to try and get it to pass all their flying tests.
It seems cruel and unusual punishment.
But it's something that like a lot of companies do. Porsche brings up their stuff. Toyota brings up their stuff to test it in the deep freeze, right? And I mean, now we got electric vehicles becoming a lot more popular. Like we've got some new hybrids at work as well, and we're driving them every day to see how they kind of respond. I mean, we have them now. You can buy them. Somebody already bought one. But like,
and how they doing?
Apparently doing pretty good.
Okay.
Apparently doing pretty good. I mean, it's a hybrid, so it's got the gas engine plus the electric engine, right? It's not full electric. But what Mikey was saying, great plug for him and their ability to test these things out. Calls out Tesla, calls out Elon Musk, and says, "Hey, if you want to deep freeze test your stuff, come to Yellowknife." He would love to try the Cybertruck.
Guy, I wouldn't want to be the pilot. Like, oh, excuse me.
Good Lord!
Every morning, eh? There's always something in there. Every morning.
Yeah. Here's what we do every morning: we clear our throats.
I do it. You don't hear me? Every morning.
He just did it.
Yeah, I just did it.
Twice.
Into the mic.
I just wait till we go on air. And we have different routines. We have different
routines. I warm up, and you cough into the mic.
So imagine being the pilot who has to get in the plane and fly this thing after they've frozen it for 12 hours. They go, "Oh, we're going to test it, see if anything breaks."
Oh, it's fine.
All right, yeah. Well, start her up. Let's take it up to 20,000 feet. And
I mean, I don't think the Buffalo crew would have anything
not at all
against that.
Not at all.
Yeah, we do that.
Well,
like
if anybody balked at it, they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah. Have you not seen our show?
Yeah, like I'm up there in a DC-3. What do you got? This brand new Airbus just built,
pilot or ain't ya?
Yeah, for goodness sake, it's not like it says 737 Max. It's not going to fall apart in the air. What's funny is that they come up here and like it's already cold. It's warmed up a little bit. Obviously, ambient temperature's up by five points.
There's again the ambient.
That's right, ambient temperature. Okay. But like they're wanting it to be colder. They're like, it's minus 35. Is it going to get colder? We would love it if it was minus 45.
We're gonna have to haul out of here.
That's right.
You can take your
any
plane
warmer.
and leave.
This is pointless. That's pretty cool. I like that Yellowknife's become kind of a hub for deep freezing stuff.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I also like that the conditions aren't working out for these people currently as we move forward.
Not cold enough.
It's not cold enough.
Call me a jerk.
They might have to go up to alert. I love that he mentioned the Cybertruck too, and it just kind of gets me on another tangent, which is that thing's never going to get into mass production.
No,
that's the Elon Musk. That's the Tesla truck.
I don't think so. So, I mean, okay, we could get into this another time, but I mean, what they did is he asked for $150 or $100 to put down your deposit.
Yeah.
To put your name on the list.
Right.
And like 5 million people did it. So there you go. Elon Musk's $500 million richer.
Still rich.
It's a great push. Like it's basically a GoFundMe for a truck.
Yeah.
And that may never see the light of day.
When's that flamethrower coming out?
It's already been out.
Yeah. Yeah, tons of people have them.
Oh,
if you don't have a flamethrower, you're way out of the loop.
No doubt, man. I thought you were cool. We know that's not true. Get the full story at cabinradio.ca.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Wheeler, Lecter, and AJ with you on your Wednesday morning. Guess what? Fort Simpson, you're not going to school today. Yeah, It's just that
Lucky.
cold. Lucky. Due to the extreme cold, minus 41 ambient. There will be no school this morning. An update will be given at 11 a.m. Again, that's on Fort Simpson Bulletin Facebook group. Again, though, it's just like in Norman Wells, where it's like we finally have a cold has finally closed the school. We've never seen it before. Stay tuned, though. You might have to come to school in the afternoon. It's like, no, just close the school for the day.
What a kick in the pants that
no
would be,
doubt, right? Oh, I get to sleep in. Oh, you got to go to school. Like,
what?
Oh, come on.
Well,
but it's like almost lunch hour.
No, fair enough.
That way they'll be nice and well rested, and they can really attack the second half of the day at school.
I would just pretend
AJ,
that you...
Ew.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't like learning?
No, I don't like positivity either.
I would just pretend that I wasn't on Facebook after that. I was like, school's canceled? Okay, I'm putting my phone away.
I'm
going outside for the day.
Also, who follows their school?
That is a very good question.
This is the
I wonder
town
if it's mandatory.
Oh, that'd be a weird 2020 thing.
Would it be?
Yeah,
right.
It would be.
It's a great way to talk to everyone.
You need HB2 pencils, a stapler, and you need to follow the school on Facebook.
Did you ever actually need a stapler?
Don't get me started
I had one.
Don't get me started on number 2 pencils. All right, I got a whole thing.
Go ahead.
We're waiting.
I don't have anything.
Oh, you're an HB1 guy.
I'm an HB. That's right. Yeah. I'm a drafting pencil guy.
What did HB1 pencils ever do to like the whole school, the world of school?
The drafting pencils.
So?
They're the blue ones.
What's wrong with that? Are they too expensive?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
Well, you know what? Let's look into it for tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, all right. We'll get to the bottom of this.
So the schools in Fort Simpson is closed. But I mean, this ties into the rest of the country. Like the rest of the country is under a blanket of snow, apparently. Like Vancouver Island, 10 inches of snow. Edmonton and Calgary, 10 inches of snow. So there's school closures across this great nation, across this great land.
There's riots in Vancouver.
People need salt.
Are there really riots in Vancouver?
Salt? No.
Well, I mean, people lose their minds.
Yeah, they haven't won anything in a while or lost anything in a while. So, no riots.
No riots there.
But I mean, it brings us back to a couple of years ago when there was like a bunch of cold weather in Vancouver and the entire city ran out of salt and there was a truck of have you ever seen Contagion? The movie Contagion.
Yes.
Okay, so it involves, if you haven't seen it, involves...
You can tell by my face.
Yeah, you can tell by my face where you're going to go...
Pursed lips,
so
eyes wide.
So it's a unique virus that like decimates the world. It kills like 1 billion people or whatever.
It's Matt Damon, right?
Matt Damon. Doesn't kill Matt Damon.
Of course it's Matt Damon.
So, but they focus on a bunch of different stories, and one of the stories obviously is like what happens after this, what happens when we have to start rationing, what happens when like people like society starts to fall apart.
Right.
One of the scenes is where they're trying to get MREs out of a truck. MREs are men's rights educators. No, they're like military ration meals, and so they're trying to get him out of the back of the truck, and there's this big line, and they run out before he gets up there. And then immediately everybody starts beating each other up and grabbing for food.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's desperate for food.
That's what I would do.
Because we need food to survive.
We do.
3 years ago in Vancouver, the weather turned on winter, during winter, and there was ice and snow, and the entire city ran out of salt. So there was run out of salt for the entire city, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody knows how to handle Vancouver in Canada, winter in Vancouver, because
it's just not normally a thing there.
It's just terrible. I lived there for 7 years. It's awful.
Did you see the riots?
I didn't see it. I was outside of downtown for the riots, and we immediately like went home or just like get the hell out of wherever downtown is. Yeah,
I was there
do
the
a little
week
looting.
before.
No,
just kicking a window or something.
Oh well, I mean, we weren't close enough. So there's a video of people lining up to get salt out of the back of a truck. It looks exactly like Contagion. They run out of salt, and people start like pushing each other down and grabbing bags of salt and like running away. Salt.
Why?
For their driveways or for their walkways, because Lord knows if you live in Canada, you shouldn't know how to walk on like ice or snow
or shovel.
Yeah, or shovel. So that's on salt in Vancouver. Not food, not water, not medicine.
Yeah,
salt.
Well, there's a lot of inclines in the streets.
I mean, there is.
There were cars like sliding down streets in
That's
park.
why I was inclined to leave.
Smart.
Very good. The wordplay this morning is
very nice.
I'm on every side of the microphone this morning. I don't know what's going on with me. So closures across the country.
All this to say,
Fort Simpson, you don't have to go to school today.
But check in at 11 a.m.
Check in, for goodness sake. They're going to give you an update. You might have to go for third period after lunch.
Or go for lunch.
That's right.
11 a.m.
Yeah,
you might have to go back to school
you're going to be marked
attend
tardy.
You got a PBJ sandwich that needs eaten. So
hey, AJ,
time to get back.
You can't have PB in schools anymore.
Yeah, no PB.
You can't have PB.
Oh,
you can have J.
I knew that.
You can have J.
But no PB.
You can J all you want. You can't PB.
J all day.
J all day.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Wheeler, Ollie, Wheeler, Lecter, and AJ with you. It just comes out of my mouth. I mean, what are you going to do? This is what I'm used to saying.
I'm flattered.
You're fine. Hall of Fame inductees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have been announced this year. They will be inducted on May 2nd. Some big names, obviously. 9 Inch Nails, Notorious B.I.G., Whitney Houston, Depeche Mode. The Doobie Brothers and T-Rex also joining the class of 2020. Some big names in there. Soundgarden was up, didn't make it in.
You know what? Ironically, I bet that was Depeche Mode, like the members' reaction.
Yeah,
when they got announced.
Yeah,
we have to get out of bed.
God, we're so depressed. Our music is terrible. Pat Benatar, Dave Matthews Band, Judas Priest, Kraftwerk, MC5, Motorhead, Rufus featuring Shaka Khan, Todd Rundgren, Soundgarden, and Thin Lizzy were all in the battle this year, but failed to receive enough votes. Soundgarden not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has Lecter stewing in his own juices.
I mean, when you put it up against the rest of the names that didn't get inducted or that didn't get enough votes,
they'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is their first.
They may
balance?
be, yeah. I mean, Chris. I mean, you got to put Chris Cornell in there at some point. It's got to be with Soundgarden, right? It's not going to be with Temple of the Dog.
Could be with Audio Slave. No. They kind of kept rock and roll alive for a while there.
Did they?
It seemed like they did.
I mean, they did. They were releasing pretty awesome rock songs.
Yeah,
sure.
well, I mean, after the post grunge era, and everyone was kind of like burnt out on rock. It seemed Audio Slave came, and everyone, it gave people like reason to be excited again.
People are burnt out on rock right now. Name a rock song that is in the top 40 right now that isn't Imagine Dragons.
Rock and roll is dead.
Yes, and Imagine Dragons killed it. They were like, Coldplay was like, we just can't seem to kill rock and roll. And then, Imagine Dragons came in and said, hold my beer.
Yeah. Run. Boom, 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 boom.
All right. Sorry.
I think Nickelback would be offended that you left them out of that conversation.
You know what? Nickelback comes out of this unscathed. I think they tried to kill rock and roll, but you listen to some of Nickelback's tunes, and they're still pretty good rock tunes. I know it's, like everybody hates Nickelback. I don't particularly love Nickelback either, but like some of their tunes are still at least pretty rocky. And then they released that, the poppy drivel that they do where it's just like, the ones that talking about like smiles all around the world. And
look at this photograph.
Okay. First of all,
that's also my Macho Man.
No, what's that song where it's just like there'd be no death or if everyone cared, nobody cried.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man, you're not Michael Jackson. Stop it.
Well, those are their songs to ensure that they just like take over every radio format in Canada.
Exactly right.
Because you can't. It's not enough to have rock radio because no one listens to rock radio anymore.
Right.
So you got to make sure that you are taking over that top 40 radio format. You got to make sure you're taking over that adult contemporary radio format. And they just cover all angles.
And it's always funny that like Canadians don't take pride in the fact that they have the biggest acts on earth whenever they happen. Because Bryan Adams at one point was one of the biggest acts on earth.
Yep.
And he's just crapped on all the time. Nickelback was the biggest band on earth. Crapped on. Justin Bieber, the biggest star on earth.
Yeah.
Celine Dion at one point was the biggest star on earth in music.
Avril
Drake
Lavigne
was the biggest star in hip hop. Two things about Nickelback and Avril Lavigne.
Sorry.
Little bits of trivia.
You said Drake and AJ said Avril Lavigne at the same time, and then my brain had you saying Avril Lavigne was the biggest star in hip hop.
That's right. You didn't hear that track, did you? Okay, so like in 2001, when what's the album that How You Remind Me is on?
Silver Side Up.
Silver Side Up.
Yeah.
So Silver Side Up comes out. The first single is How You Remind Me.
Yep.
It's a 3 minute and 20 second song.
Yeah.
At one point in North America on radio, at the turn of the century when radio was still enormously huge, it was playing every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was playing all the time. Like if you had all the radio stations, you would flip to them, and How You Remind Me was playing everywhere.
Yeah. And I think that's why we don't like them.
It's
I
part,
think it's
it's
a
part
good
of it. They were
song,
pushed
it's
so
just
hard.
overplayed
That's right.
so much.
Yeah.
So it was the most played song in radio history. You know what took it over?
Avril Lavigne.
Complicated. Yeah.
What a jam.
So that's soon.
Yeah, that's soon.
Wow.
It became that
those
song
came out
became
like boom, boom.
boom, boom, and that song became the most played song in radio history at the time.
Wow.
So at the time, Nickelback and Avril Lavigne were the two biggest acts on earth.
You know what the next one was after that?
I don't.
Took over Complicated?
What?
Hotline Bling.
I hope so.
Avril Lavigne's biggest hip hop song.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, she's so good. She's so good. No credit to Drake whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's why we kind of get inundated, we overhear it, and then
You know what the reason is?
what?
CanCon.
Well, yeah, you got to get that CanCon in there. But I mean, they those songs became so huge that like they're almost outside of CanCon. Like it almost doesn't even count. I mean, it does,
Well,
but it's just like we can play this. Everybody's playing it all the time.
Well, yeah, it's just you play it by default here in Canada.
No, we don't
Speaking
play. We
of
don't play default here. Although there are a couple.
I'm going to deny that.
But there's a couple of default songs that I really like too that
Oh,
I had
yeah.
on my mini disc player back in 2004.
I also
That's
had a
right.
mini disc.
Had a mini disc player.
Me too.
Yeah, I remember when I figured out how to load. Like when you first loaded it up, it was like 25 songs. I remember when I figured out that I could fit like 400 songs. I was like, this is incredible.
That day is today for me.
That day's
I
today.
had multiple discs.
You know how you did that? You know how you did that back in the day with blank CDs and mini discs? Yeah. Instead of loading as MP3s, you load them up as doc files. And it basically just...
Where were you,
file.
man?
Yeah, right? Isn't that weird? So it would
pretty
basically
weird.
just compress it even more.
Yeah.
And they'd sound tinny and crap, but You can fit a bunch of songs on there, buddy.
You open it up and the lyrics just show up on a blank Word document.
Oh, I'd love that. So Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced its inductees for this year, May 2nd. If you can make it down to Cleveland, go for it. Everybody wants to flee to the Cleve.
Oh, love to visit
Cleveland. Might be in the neighborhood.
Actually, Cleveland's apparently pretty nice.
Cleveland rocks.
According to Drew Carey. Well, no, according to President of the United States of America. That's who did that song.
And then Drew Carey.
And then Drew Carey.
Yeah.
And so,
okay. Any other than Depeche Mode, anyone on there that you're like,
Well, you guys are talking specifically rock and roll. So but there's like Whitney Houston in there.
No, because Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is kind of all encompassing. It's like it's the music Hall of Fame.
It should just be called the pop music.
Well, no,
just music.
It should be called the Music Hall of Fame.
Music Hall of Fame.
Well, because I mean,
but then you got to have Yo-Yo Ma in there.
You got to have Mozart in
Charlotte
there.
Church. Yeah, Mozart. Posthumously inducted into the Music Hall of Fame. He was really good back in the day.
Let's call it the 20th and 21st century Pop Music Hall of Fame.
That's pretty. It's not
accurate. A sexy name.
But Pat Benatar on the list, not in, didn't make it in. I'm not sure how many times she's been on the list, but Pat Benatar should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I assume that eventually a lot of these people will.
Eventually,
if it's not this year.
Soundgarden's going to get in there. Shaka Khan, amazingly, not in there.
Yeah.
One of the most influential voices in the 70s.
Jay Bear is going to be upset about this.
Very true. MC5, that's kind of surprising. Motorhead, after Lemmy died, you think they'd just be like, there you go. Judas Priest, I'm fine with that. But the Dave Matthews
they
Band.
Should be in there.
Dave Matthews Band.
No.
I know how you feel
Sorry,
about
Shannon,
Dave Matthews Band.
but no.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I mean, that's a strong nominee list, regardless. And I assume there's they put a limit on how many can get in each year.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's always going to be strong acts, and the MC5 and several others that were acts from the 60s and 70s that still aren't in. It's tough because as you move forward now through the 90s, and you have bands like Soundgarden and Nirvana, I think was inducted last year.
Yeah.
It
takes years.
You're going to have more and more of these bands come up.
Yeah.
Because there just were more and more acts. And so it's nice that you have these strong, these consistently strong ballots, but in the end, it's just kind of fun to talk about. It doesn't really mean anything.
I mean, that's right. I mean, even Depeche Mode, in their statement, we're incredibly honored to be included in this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, to stand alongside the other critical groups, and we just want some tea.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Mornings at the Cabin. Sloan, everything you've done wrong is listed right here, conveniently. Wheeler, Lecter, and AJ. That'd be great if you were in a long-term relationship. Would you rather your partner just kind of hold things back and stew until it explodes, or just offer a list every day?
Option one,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
I love the simmering under the surface.
I do too. Yeah. It makes the intimate times that much hotter. Happy breakfasts. Snow King Festival has announced their 2020 schedule. It's opening up on February 29th, which is a day earlier than usual. Thanks to that leap year we're having. See what I mean about calendars and time not meaning anything?
That's
just every 4 years, we're extra day.
Yeah, I don't really get. I'm assuming there's a reason.
Because we do. It's 365.25 days.
Is it though?
It is.
Is it?
I don't know. The Earth's flat. The sun doesn't exist. So you can go to cabinradio.ca for the full rundown. Of course, snowking.ca for the full schedule as well. Of course, we know last year had to close about a week early because of the warm weather in March. We are hoping not for this cold, but, a nice simmery minus 20 to 25 for throughout the month so they can, survive.
Reasonable winter temperature.
That's right.
Minus 12. Yeah. I'll take a warmer minus 12.
Yeah, we can all survive at minus 12. Yeah. Castle can survive. It's fine.
Yeah. That's right.
As long as the sun's not just beating down.
Just baking us, buddy.
It's interesting how quickly we forget certain things, because I remember a few weeks ago talking about the Snow King closing early to someone, and Nicole was there, and I think I mentioned that it was plus 20 in March, and she was like, "It was not plus 20. Calm down." No, it was straight up plus 20. We had an article about it. I look back.
It was 20?
It was plus 20
I don't even remember
on
that.
Monday. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have had the same reaction as Nicole.
I mean, it's ludicrous that it was that plus 20. But
you'd have a classic Canadian reaction to that. I won't say the word, but it's like, eh. Okay.
Come on.
You're full of it.
What are you talking about, bud?
What are you talking about, bud?
Yeah,
Plus 20.
Straight up plus 20. I mean, probably just for like an hour one day.
But
and then
still,
it's
I mean, the sun was baking down. I mean, that's why
it was nuts.
It was a huge pool in the middle of the castle. We're hoping it all goes smoothly this year. As much as we love that warm weather, it was a little disconcerting in the middle of March for it to be above zero.
Yeah, would have loved more of that in June.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Quite frankly.
Oh, it would have been great. But you know what? Our summers here are great. Plus 10 and cloudy is wonderful.
Fingers crossed for this year.
Fingers crossed. So the newly released schedule, this year's 25th Snow King Winter Festival. That's right, 25 years.
That's amazing.
That is incredible. That absolutely is incredible. So, including appearances by Lila Gilday, Andrea Betker, and then the Great Melts is coming up with Toronto punk band Pup. We'll play with local band Pit.
Oh,
so
I can't wait for
getting
that.
back together.
Pit and Pup.
For the Great Melts, the Pup and Pit. The Pup Pit.
Pup
Pit. Pit Pup. Puppy Pit. Pit.
Pup is awesome. I
And
can't
of course, the old standbys. You got the King's Comedy Night on the 26th, featuring the comedy stylings of Scott Letkeman. Letkeman. Damn it. Every time.
That's close enough.
That's right. I
you
mean,
don't, you don't
know
really
what?
know him that well.
From now on, that's right. From now on, it's just going to be Scott. Scott. Letkeman. I don't know why. It's because it's.
You just need to let him in.
Speaking of the comedy nights, don't give him that look.
Oh, I'm giving him that.
I'm trying to help you.
That's
I'm trying to help you.
I know.
Don't push me away now. You've already pushed Scott away this morning.
That's not true.
Quit pushing us.
I'm not pushing anybody. I'm over here. I'm on my own side.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Are we cool?
Speaking of the comedy night,
Yes.
we're going to need some other acts to step up this year. And we know that you and I have talked about it.
We
in the
have
past.
talked about it.
We've
I'm
gabbed about it.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified of doing it.
And that is
it takes so much to get up there and do it. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a certain amount of, like, not obliviousness, but a certain amount. I'm going to say a certain amount of ego to be like, I'm going to say this and people are going to laugh, and that's how it's going to be.
confidence. I think that's the word.
Yeah, confidence. Yeah. I don't mean ego in like a negative way. Ego always has negative connotations, but like a certain amount of like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah,
it's brave.
I don't
really
care
is.
if they don't laugh.
It is totally.
Yeah, I don't care if they don't laugh, which is like
is the hardest thing.
Any comedian you talk to is like, oh, I absolutely care if they don't laugh.
Some love it when they bomb.
They
Norm
do.
Macdonald famously loves bombing,
But he can pull himself out of anything. Anything.
I think he just finds it so amusing because normally, I mean, especially at this point in his career, Norm Macdonald is, if he's playing a show somewhere, there are droves of people coming out to see it.
Yes.
They all love him. They all want to see him. They all love and know his brand of comedy. But back in the day when he was just kind of starting out,
it's true.
A very different sense of humor.
Yeah.
Does Norm Macdonald have?
That's right.
And I think he found it amusing. Yeah, when people would just not quite get it, because there would always be some people who were like, "All right, this guy's on to something else. Like he's
on another level."
Yeah, and then there would be other people who are just like, "This guy's not funny. He's not funny at all."
Yeah,
one of those being Lorne Michaels.
That's right. That's right. What else are you going to say about comedy night? We need the heavy hitters to step up. We need Scotty Falshaw.
Well, Uncle
Mark
Lorne
Rehak.
is
We need Uncle
hosting.
Lorne. You know what?
So not really. I mean, he'll still be telling jokes
That's
in
right.
between and that, but not really performing. If he's
That's right.
hosting, and that's big shoes to fill.
What did we talk about on Saturday after the movie shoot? We were talking about Lorne and Mel Leonard. Lorne McGinnis and Mel Leonard being the MCs for basically everything.
Yes.
And now how Ollie's kind of hoarding in on that bracket.
Mm-hmm.
But so we mentioned that they should have an MC off. And like, I'd love to have an MC off between these two.
Yeah.
And then the winner fights Heidi Kane. The winner goes up
The
against
final
Heidi
boss.
Kane. That's right. The final boss. Yeah.
Maybe Heidi will get up there this year.
I mean, that'd be amazing.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I feel like Ollie is a very different style of MC to Lorne or Mel, though. Like
He's a bit more self-deprecating.
Ollie's a gala MC.
He is. Well, he's got the accent.
Yes.
It makes it sound fancy.
Gala.
Gala.
He's a classy style of
That's
comedy.
right. That's right. Always gets nicely dressed up.
Yes.
And all that thing,
Yeah. Lorne and Mel are more event
That's right.
MCs.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. And I don't really know how to necessarily decipher between the two, but it's just the feel I get from the
Oh, no, I absolutely know what you mean.
Ollie MCing the King's comedy night.
No.
I mean, we would find it funny.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe everyone would, but there would still be an odd fit to it.
It would be an odd fit. So I think Lorne makes sense. Mel also makes sense.
Although he did the one at the museum. He
He did the
that
Comedy
one.
Night Museum.
And he did a great
Poster
job.
for it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what am I talking about?
I don't know.
I guess that was a gala comedy
I
night.
mean, it's a gala comedy night. Everyone's dressed to the nines.
As long as the word gala is
Telling
involved.
fart jokes.
Kicking Lecter and Nicole out of their seats.
Get out of here.
Some people don't forget, Shane.
Find the full schedule at snowking.ca. I mean, tons of local acts as well. Just kind of roll through them. Baby Brian, Alice Twab, Miranda Curry and the Boreal Beats, Wesley Hardesty, Saba K Social Club, Nara, The Houseman, Patrick Jacobson, Bluebird Island, and Nathan Knox and the Yard Dogs round out the list of local performers featured during the month-long festival. You know how we do. The month-long festival, there's always something to do, except on Monday when they're closed because they need a day off.
I got to say, Brian Schuyler and the Tex Pistols.
That's pretty good.
That's great.
That's pretty good.
I love that.
You did get a good kick out of that yesterday.
I did. I giggled even.
We stopped on that list. Mm-hmm. The Tex Pistol. What was it?
What was it?
Tex
Pixels?
Test pistols.
Tex Pistols.
Test tipples.
Tex pedals.
Test nipples. No, text pistols.
Yeah.
Is that what it?
Tex Pistols.
Tex pistols.
Like the Sex Pistols from Texas.
There. Oh, I see. Yeah, very good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
With Johnny Rottenseed. Like I said, cabinradio.ca for the full story on that, and also snowking.ca for the full schedule. All of it broken down for you for their 25th anniversary. Absolutely fantastic. We'll be talking about it more as we draw closer to the day. That's going to do it for Mornings at the Cabin this morning. Please be kind to each other. Actually, I'm not a cop. Do whatever.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.